Hey everybody, thank you for purchasing the $3 steak. Batman animated movies can go 50-50 sometimes. Sometimes it'll be a really good movie and other times it'll be a pretty jarring movie. The movie I will be discussing falls somewhere in the middle. What I love about the movie is also what makes it pretty jarring, and it's that it centers around Jim Gordon, and Batman's story feels more like a B plot in this movie. I like this because of how fleshed out Jim's character is in this movie. I think that seeing him take it to the other cops and have the combat skills he has is pretty cool to see because we do not see this in other Batman movies. Jim is usually the commissioner in distress. It's almost like his promotion somehow depleted all of his combative skill, assuming this is actual Batman canon, of course. What I'm really shocked at in this movie is that Batman really isn't the focus here almost at all. They also picked the perfect voice for Jim Gordon, Bryan freaking Cranston. I'll tell you, prior to watching this movie, I had no knowledge of the cast, and when I recognized Bryan Cranston's voice, I was a bit shocked, as he's not someone I would typically associate with Batman. But hearing him voice Jim Gordon is absolutely perfect. I am delightfully surprised, and I would even argue that this helped make the story even better in some inexplicable way. This is not the same that I can say about the Batman voice actor, however. Now, I have nothing against the voice actor, as I'm not too familiar with Ben McKenzie, but I'm sure he's a fine actor. However, he is not the best voice actor to do Batman. Maybe I fall under the Kevin Conroy bias, but respectfully, I feel like Ben's voice was way too high-pitched to do Batman, unfortunately. At first, my thinking was that they cast someone with a higher-pitched voice to symbolize that since this is Batman's first year, he hasn't quite built the confidence to have such a menacing voice, and as the movie goes on, his voice will grow increasingly more deep, confident, and menacing. But since he shows little nervousness in this movie as Batman, this kind of dispels my theory. I think anyone could have been a better choice. Even the voice actor for Harvey Dent would have been miles better as a choice for Batman than the voice actor they went with. Now, putting the voice actor choices aside, I also want to talk about the actual story of the movie itself. I think it is really well done in terms of, as I've mentioned, fleshing out the Jim Gordon character. It really shows what he went through and how he struggles to not bring his work home. The relationship between him and his wife is nice to see because it shows how much they love each other. I do think that Jim Gordon having an affair, however, was not necessary. I think I get what they were trying to do by showing that he's human and he made a mistake, and by also even explaining that Sarah understands how stressful the job is, which is something that Barbara does not truly understand. However, I disagree with this part of the movie for two main reasons. The first being that the movie already shows Jim's human side, and it shows it really well. Both his character and his marriage is really well fleshed out. The second being the excuse, or the reason. Stating that Sarah understands a job more than Barbara sounds a little more like Jim also had an emotional affair, which, given how likable his character is in the movie, that just kind of rubs me the wrong way, and it makes me even see him in a different light. It sounds exactly like he's making an excuse, and I just think that it feels so out of character with the rest of this movie. I personally would have done this differently. Like, instead, have Sarah make a pass at Jim, of course remaining loyal, and then Jim's corrupt bosses can take a picture of this and then use it to blackmail Jim with that photo. Jim would then go to his wife, explain the situation, and continue the rest of the movie from there. Moving on, I find the movie satisfying with how Jim takes down his arrogant rival, Flass. After Jim being beaten down by a group of corrupt colleagues, Jim targets Flass, follows him, and basically just beats him. What's even more badass is that Jim gave Flass a bat as a little handicap against Jim, and Jim still took him down, and I just thought this was one of the best fight scenes I had honestly ever seen. This movie honestly should have just been named Jim Gordon's Year One, featuring Batman. The Batman arc was pretty decent. It had a slow start, but it had me on my toes during the middle of the movie as it progressed and intertwined with the A-plot. I think overall the movie did a great job, and I was pretty happy to watch it. That's going to be the end of this review. If you like my content and would like to support my channel, you may absolutely do so by visiting my store in Mercari Link will be in my bio in the description below. Thank you for watching and subscribe.